Morning, everyone. Hope everybody had a good week this week. Hope the you have found something good in the week. Uh, Being that it's Saturday and we're about to move into a whole new week, I wanted to go ahead and take a moment and kind of recap those four foundational steps for Christian men who are just feeling stuck, disconnected from their purpose. And I need you to hear my heart here. You're not broken. You're just parked, and it's time to move. It's time to get out of the parking spot. It's time to get out of the parking lot and get down the road to a better life, to a life centered on God and what He has for you. So, with that, I want you to understand that these steps, they're not just ideas and they're not theories. They're actionable steps. They're an invitation to move forward into what God has for you. They're doable steps. They're not hard unless you overthink what we're talking about. So, to recap, our step one is simple: reigniting forward motion, right? You can't change your whole life in one day. You can't change it all at once. And I maintain that if you try to do that, you're inevitably going to fail. Does that make you a bad person? No. What it means is that you took that big giant goal and tried to bite all of it, put all of it in your mouth at one time, instead of simplifying the steps and making them and turning them into a usable, actionable step that's small and doable, right? It starts with that one hard conversation or letting go of whatever habit is keeping you from achieving what you are looking to achieve, right? It starts with celebrating those little things. When we do something good, when we take that first step and it works for us, let's celebrate those things so we can create that momentum. Movement creates momentum. So let me kind of give you an example here. It's been 3 years since I retired from the military. And my family and I, in an effort to find and to move forward, came to our 52-acre property, and we started raising everything from chickens, cows, goats, both milk goats and milk cows. And we quickly realized that this is just not going to work. This was not what we were meant to do. But because we were moving forward, God was able to adjust and pivot us onto the path that we're on now, right? He didn't take us away from our farm or this property that we're on. He didn't take us away from the lifestyle that we're trying to live. He's just making it closer, bringing us closer to Him in that, right? So when we continue to move forward, we allow God the opportunity to make those changes in our path that bring Him closer to Him and it help us achieve what He has set for us, right? And that's where we want to be. That's where we want to be. So with that being said, we got to understand our purpose. Our step two is finding our purpose in what we're doing, finding our purpose in our work. And to me, that means finding my why, finding our why we're doing this. It's not just to make money, right? Our job. It's not just to make money. Instead, it's to allow God to shape us where we're at. It's asking Him to renew our vision in our what we're doing and guide us toward the thing that he has meant for us to do, right? Guide us toward our calling, right? I listened to a video a couple days ago where a gentleman was specifically talking about this. Now, of course, he wasn't necessarily talking it in a biblical manner, but it was very much a reminder to seek our why. Our purpose translates to our why. Why am I doing what I do? Right? So he asked one of the participants in this video, he asked them, what is your why to why you're wanting to build this thriving life coaching business? And so this guy begins by being very surface and saying he wants to help people. He wants to make them better people, right? And the gentleman's like, oh, great. Now what else? Why do you want to do this? And so the guy comes up with the same thing, but then he adds, I want them to be able to help build a better community, right? I want also to be able to spend more time with my family. So I want to start this life coaching business that allows me that time, right? And that's just really important to understand those things. That's great. But the gentleman asked him again, basically asked him 4 times, why do you want to do this? What is better if you do this? And the participant basically got to the point where he specifically said, I am speechless. He didn't have an answer anymore. And he got to the point where, because he didn't have an answer, the gentleman who was running this video said, well, there's your why. Illustrating the idea that we have to peel back our onion to the root cause of why we want to do this goal, why we want to get to this point in our life. And because of that, it helps us break through the time period where motivation no longer is helpful. Discipline takes over and structure becomes a part of our structural day, right? Everybody has a structure to their day. This is what this gentleman was getting after. When we know our purpose and we know our why, and it is rooted in God, then we can accomplish anything. And reminding ourselves of that as we break through each barrier that tries to keep us from that goal, right? So we've reignited forward motion. We've figured out our why, but we still haven't really dealt with the feelings, right? So what does that mean? In step 3, that means normalizing the drift, right? We got to understand that it's okay to feel this way, this lost feeling. It's okay to feel this disconnection from our purpose, right? What's not okay is when we stay there and we just do nothing, right? We don't want to do that. We want to be able to move forward through that. So by normalizing the drift and recognizing that it's there, recognizing that we're feeling this way, and then moving through it, we can finally move on our path, build the relationships we need to. I love this step because this is where we start building community amongst others who also are like-minded, and I call it the brotherhood, right? I need a brotherhood. You need a brotherhood. We all need a brotherhood that's going to be able to help us relate to someone else and see and help each other, right? So just as iron sharpens iron, so does the blade of the edge of a blade cuts through bone and marrow. Well, when we go into community, we have to be ready for that, because the brotherhood is meant to shape and sharpen and cut through those negative things, those things that keep us from achieving what we want to achieve, right? But at the same time, we get that feeling that we are amongst like-minded people. We are amongst people who feel the same way I do and are looking to better themselves. Some may be further along than others, but that's okay. We help each other out. We lift each other up. We don't play to the least common denominator. No, we build each other up to the highest point possible. That's what a brotherhood is all about. That's what I'm trying to be here for you about. So once we gather our brotherhood, we can now move forward in faith and not by sight, right? We don't have the full map. We weren't meant to have the full map. No, instead we were meant to come up with the goal that's centered on Christ and then get our first couple steps lined out, understand what those steps are, and we can move forward and let God shine the light on the next step as we move forward. As we move forward in Him, in faith, trusting that He's going to be there for us every step of the way, we now can take action. We can trust God. We can let that light really shine on the path ahead of us. Because we weren't just meant to coast. We were put on this earth to build something greater than ourselves, to lead something greater than ourselves, whether it be our family, our community, our work, doesn't matter. We were meant to live on the mission. For my brothers in arms, 23 years in the military, when you leave the military, you think you've lost that mission, but you haven't. The mission is still there. It's just changing. It's just, call it evolving for lack of a better term. It's turning into something that is centered, hopefully, ideally, toward Christ, and it's operating in that mission. It's leading your families. My brothers in Christ, we are called to lead our families. We weren't called to sit by the wayside and let our families rot. We were called to sit and lead our families. We were also called to build something greater than ourselves. That's building something towards God. So I hope that these 4 steps have kind of sparked something in you, and whatever it has sparked, I ask that you move forward into it. Take one of these steps and start actioning them. And if you're having problems doing that, if you don't understand how to, again, that's where the brotherhood comes in. That's what I'm here for. That's what everyone that we connect with is here for. And if you need some help and you don't know where to turn, like I said, I'm right here. If you go to 8pointgrowth.com, you can schedule a free Genesis call and restart your car. Get out of that parking spot, get out of the parking lot, and start moving down the road toward a better life in Christ. Thanks a lot, everybody. I really appreciate your time and look forward to seeing you next week. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.